What's up?
What's up? What's up? Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. It's Monday. Why is there a big echo?
Hopefully
You
it's
hear
not
that?
from us. No, not me.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I don't hear an echo from you.
Oh, it's gone now.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh well. We figured it out. We did it so fast. We're ninjas.
That's true. Less than a frame of a second.
So if you're tuning in, guys, thank you for watching and tuning in. Make sure you share this, like it, heart it, give it a thumbs down if you don't like it. As long as you're interacting with it, that's all that matters. So, yeah, we got a good show for you guys this evening. We're going to be talking about ninjutsu. We're going to be talking about the Bujinkan Godon test. But first, one thing I want to talk about is, what are your top 5 martial arts movies of all time and why?
In order, like, do I have to rate them like from 1 to 5, or just 5 in any order?
I don't know. Can you do it 1 through 5? See, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I don't know.
Except for the first one. I could put that up top, but I don't know about the others. Like, I don't know if I could put them in order.
Okay. I will put my number 1 as Bloodsport. I know that much. Bloodsport for me motivated me a lot as a kid. Even in 3rd grade, I asked my mom if she could rename me to Frank, because I was so big on like Frank Dukes. Oh, I'm not kidding. And Mom, if you're watching this,
You don't look like a Frank.
I know, exactly.
Hey, Frank Delani.
My name is Ranjit, but you can call me Frank.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that would have worked out real well. I mean, I am in IT, so I could pull that off. But
Yeah.
So Bloodsport for sure, number 1, simply because of like the motivation factor. Awesome cheesy 80s music.
Yep.
But the others, I can't rank them, so I'm just gonna say them. So 2 through 5. I will say Kickboxer, another Van Damme one. I will say Undisputed 2 with Michael Jai White and Scott Adkins. I thought that was really underrated, not very well known, but really cool fight scenes. Ip Man, the first Ip Man with Donnie Yen. I think I said 4. And 5, I'm gonna say there's a movie called Revenger. It was also slipped by under the radar for a lot of people out in the West. It was a Korean movie, somewhat of a similar theme to like Mortal Kombat, I guess you can say. But guy gets dropped off at an island, full of like ex-cons, and he's trying to save some people there. But excellent martial arts, really cool. But I mean, I have a lot of other really close ones. Yeah. I'm sure if I thought about this again in like 5-10 minutes, I'd probably rearrange that list. But those are my first 5 that pop up.
All right. So to make it a little easier for you, let's do top 5 classics, like 90s and older, and top 5 modern, like 2000s and above.
Okay. All right. So classics, obviously still Bloodsport and Kickboxer are still there. I'm going to Shinobi no Mono count. It's not a martial arts movie, but it could be.
It is.
Okay. So Shinobi no Mono, the first one, only the first one. There's a lot of them. That was 3. I'm gonna say Enter the Dragon, and I gotta throw Sho Kasugi in there somewhere. What was the name of the one where they're like in like it's an urban setting, and you see like ninja in like white shinobi shizoku and then black ones as well.
I think it's Revenge of the Ninja.
Revenge of the Ninja. I was thinking of
Yeah.
Revenge of the Ninja. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it could be Enter the Ninja, actually. There was Revenge of the Ninja and Enter the Ninja. I can't remember.
Okay.
Um,
Whatever the first one was, I think that was Enter the Ninja. I can't remember the name in my head right now.
let's see. Yeah, it's Enter the Ninja.
Okay. All right, cool. I wasn't off. And then modern, again, Undisputed 2, Revenger, Ong Bak, Raid Redemption, or Raid, the first Raid, I guess. I don't remember if Redemption was the first or second one. And oh man, the fifth one. Oh yeah, Ip Man, the first one with Donnie Yen. Those are my 5 modern ones. What about you?
Classics, definitely Bloodsport.
Yeah.
I always wanted to fight into Kumite. I'm still looking for it.
You got to go to Hong Kong for that.
Yep, got to go to Hong Kong every 5 years.
Yep.
Kickboxer for sure. Ninja 3, The Domination. I would have to say there's just so many back then. It's like,
yeah, they really were.
And I'm just naming the ones I watched the most when I was younger. American Ninja.
Yes, that crossed my mind.
Even though that was probably one of the worst ones, you know, knowing like what we know now, that probably was one of the worst ninja movies ever made. You know what I mean?
I actually tried to go back and watch it. I think like 6 months ago, and I couldn't get past like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But you know, when you're young and a kid, you don't know any better. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, you know, ninjas and weapons and all that stuff, and he's disappearing, and you know what I mean? What's the one where Van Damme has a twin brother? What's it called again?
Oh, was it like an identical twin or just a twin?
Yeah. Well,
like an identical twin.
Yeah,
like an evil. Was it an evil one? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it was a good one and an evil one.
It wasn't Double Impact, right? Because Double Impact. It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Double Impact. Or
I thought that was Dennis Rodman in that with Van Damme. Yeah, there was one with Dennis Rodman. You don't remember that?
What?
Yeah, I swear to God, look it up. Dennis Rodman and Van Damme.
Let's see.
This was when Dennis Rodman was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Double Team.
Double Team. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman was a big celebrity at that time, not just basketball.
Yeah. Double Team.
I had to throw him in there.
Not that, you know, not that kind of Double Team, if you know what I'm saying. You know, that sounds like a totally different movie.
Wrong genre. Thanks, Eric. Double Impact. He confirmed
Double Impact. Or what was the one I was just thinking about? Anyway, there was another one I was thinking about, but I would say modern movies, Last Samurai.
I should have said that.
That one was a good movie, even though there was a lot of inconsistencies with history and things like that. You know what I mean?
It was historical fiction.
Yeah. But that one was good. I honestly enjoyed the new Mortal Kombat. I thought that was pretty good, except for the main character, the one that doesn't even appear in any video games. I forget his name already. But
yeah, I didn't like that one at all. I thought Kano was took the limelight away from everyone else in the new Mortal Kombat. Yeah. I liked his
Kano and Scorpion were the two like highlights.
Yeah.
I did like Ninja with Scott Atkins.
Yeah, that was a good one for sure.
Yeah. Hmm. What other good ones are out there? See, I always watch the older ones.
There's a lot. I mean, geez, there's the other Ape Man movies.
Does Rush Hour count?
Sure.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. Uh, oh man.
I mean, especially there's a lot of really good foreign films as well, right? Like, for example, like there was a few different raid movies. I mentioned Revenger before as well. That was a really good one. There's a few different Ong Bak movies.
I wasn't a huge fan of Ong Bak.
I like the first one. The others were okay.
Oh, what was the one with it was an MMA movie with what's his name who plays Venom?
Oh yeah, Warrior.
Warrior.
Tom
That was
Hardy.
yeah, Tom Hardy. That was good. I like
Yeah,
that
that
one.
was good. Yeah, I thought the I wasn't too big of a fan actually of the last fight, but
Right.
I think
Yeah.
the rest of the movie was really good.
Yeah. What else?
I think you hit your 5
Oh, was that 5?
for the modern ones. Let's go
I don't-
back. What
Yeah,
would you
I
say?
did 5. I did 5 originals too.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be it. I mean, there's just so many of them. You know what I mean? Especially during the '80s era, that '70s and '80s era. I didn't even mention Shinobi no Mono, and but
Yeah.
that's because like I didn't watch Shinobi no Mono when I was a kid. I found that later. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Same.
that's why it's not on my list. But
Mm.
awesome movie for sure. Um, but yeah. Um,
Which, by
I,
the way, Hatsumi was one of the director or assistants. I mean, assisting the director with a lot of the, I guess, like the what do
historical
you call it?
fact.
The action and historical facts and stuff throughout the movie, which actually is a segue into the topic that you're going to introduce us to.
Yeah. So we're gonna. I guess first we'll talk about. I hate calling it ninjutsu because that's not really what it is, but that's what everybody
Right.
knows it as. So
Yeah, exactly.
we're gonna talk about why do we think ninjutsu gets a bad rap? But again, I use ninjutsu as a more of a broadened term, or broad term, I should say, because we call it Japanese jiu-jitsu, we call it ninpo, we call it kobudo. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so in your opinion, why do you think ninjutsu gets a bad rap? And I'm sure your opinion is probably similar to mine, but
Oh yeah, and you and I have also, talked about stuff like this with each other for on many times in the past as well. But I mean, God, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, obviously the first one is the lack of serious pressure testing, and when we say that, you hear a lot of Nimpo schools, or rather like instructors, they start defending and say, well, we do pressure testing, and then you see their pressure testing, and they're not really pressure testing the correct way. They think that there's a lot of over compliance, right? And I understand like not every technique you can obviously like really apply on someone safely, so you have to do them slow, and there has to be some level of uh, some level of compliance, right?
right.
But a lot of the rondery or the non-compliance training is really like against unrealistic attacks. For me, we've talked about this before on the show. I grew up getting into fights repeatedly I had multiple concussions before even going to junior high school, right? So I've been through my fair share of stuff, and so I have an idea of how people, the average person on the street, is usually going to attack you, right?
Right.
And a lot of the ways that these people are, instructors for ninjutsu schools are teaching their students to defend against is like something that against like types of attacks that you'll never really gonna encounter.
Right.
So that's the first thing is unrealistic pressure testing or just lack of pressure testing completely. And then two, I think a lot of it is there's not enough emphasis on making sparring required for testing. There's a heavy emphasis on technique, but with that you can clearly tell, and we'll see this in some of the videos that I'm going to share as well later. About like people sparring ninjutsu versus other arts for the lack of a better phrase, and you're going to see clearly how people are just they have literally no sparring experience. They react to every small movement. So that's a big problem. I think those are the two main big ones, and we'll leave the rest for later.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What about you? Did I leave anything out?
No, it was like a silent, awkward pause. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I also think that you have a lot of LARPers. I think when YouTube came about, I think it made it worse because you had a lot of LARPers doing ninjutsu stuff on YouTube, trying to like do stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like trying to like make like smoke bombs and things like that. And you have like the neckbeards trying to, you know, uh cut with their swords, on YouTube and things like that. Um and you know, all that fun stuff. But well, I say fun stuff, in a sarcastic way, but um, I think it's just, and then like I think the I want to say the media, but it's not the media. It's like like the public thinks like we all dress up in ninja outfits and train and stuff, and we're not doing that. Obviously we're not like um I don't know. Maybe some schools are. I have no idea, but you know what I mean. So, but it's you get what I'm trying to say. Like, like
Yeah.
it's a
So
stigma. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think this actually kind of leads into a third point that I should have made as well, is that a lot of the videos we see online, if you look up on YouTube, most of the stuff you're going to see is really negative stuff. All the worst examples of Nimpo, obviously, that are there on YouTube, but you don't ever really see the really good ones. And that kind of leads a lot of people to think about that. It's like if all you can see is bad stuff and you can't see anything good, then it really, you can't blame people for thinking that. But you and I have met other people who are very high level practitioners, right? And these are people that don't care about social media. They don't care about showing any of their skills or anything online. They have zero like passion for showing their stuff to the public,
Right.
their abilities, you can say. But them not doing that also kind of hurts us, you know what I mean? Because like
Yep.
now other people aren't able to see it. Like I like watching videos from Akban. I've mentioned that before as well. That North Carolina Chapel Hill Quest martial arts, I believe they're called.
There
um
is in North Carolina.
no, there's that's one of Stephen Hayes' students, um Hardy, forget his last name,
Yeah,
Sensei
I know who
Hardy.
you're talking about. I didn't know he was in North Carolina though.
Yeah, Chapel Hill. Yeah, so I like watching some of his videos. But yeah, I think that's another reason, because there's some really good practitioners out there, but you
Yeah.
don't see a lot of their stuff online.
Yeah. And then I think you have a lot of the like the Anthony Cummins I don't know how else to call him, the I don't know, tree huggers, I guess you can say, right? Um, you know,
I haven't
like
heard that before.
you know, like the fans, the Anthony Cummins fans, hardcore fans, where like you know they follow everything Anthony Cummins says,
Hmm.
and but they don't really train, right? They just want to
Hmm.
play. They just want to play ninja.
Gotcha.
I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing is like a lot of people uh want to play ninja. You know, they want to just do whatever in their backyard and play ninja, but they don't really train. They don't actually go to a dojo and train, or they try to get their knowledge all online. They don't really get into a dojo and train because you know they're scared for whatever reason or what have you. You know, but and then you know there's all these crappy videos online, you know, showing terrible technique and people showing off things that they really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives everyone a bad rap, you
Yeah.
know, that does it. You know what I mean? So, um, but yeah. So you have some videos. You said right? Do you want to show your videos first, or you want me to show
Yeah.
my
I guess
video?
since we're already on the topic of like sparring and stuff, let's because that shouldn't take that long. But let's go through some of these. And I'm gonna skip through these. So let me get this. So let me mute it. I don't think we really care about the audio. So literally all I did on YouTube was type like ninjutsu versus, and then you know whatever popped up in the drop down menu,
Uh-huh.
or you know taijutsu versus or whatever. Um, so let's do this. Share screen. Just fire match. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna hit play here. So the guy in the black, obviously, you know, he's a ninjutsu student, and it looks like what's happening is there's this is at a karate school. Are you able to see
Uh-huh.
this clip?
Yep.
Okay, great. Looks a little choppy, but so I'm gonna wait for
For it to buffer a little bit.
yeah, that's weird. Wonder why it's doing that. All right, let's rewind that a little bit, see if we can get some of this in. Not sure why it's moving so choppy.
Yeah, rewind it back all the way and see if it helps.
Okay. I have a great internet connection. I'm not sure why it was doing that. So here, what you see, like he just got whacked in the head, right? I mean, right in the face. So it looks like this is a karate school. It looks like they sponsored some type of like challenge because there's other students
Yeah,
there.
it looks like a maybe like a mini tournament or something like that, or sparring session.
Looks like it's between two schools.
Yeah.
So you see that they're both wearing black belts. Obviously, they look kind of young, you know, but clearly, you know, the guy in the white looks a lot more relaxed, right? The
Right.
guy in the white in the karate uniform, you could tell, like, you know, they're. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's something that we should specialize in. You know, throws like
Right.
that.
Right.
I mean, that was just silly, but he's a lot more relaxed. You could tell, like, you know, his reaction time and the feints and everything that he's doing, that they actually practice sparring. Whereas
Right.
the guy in black, the ninjutsu student, you know, you could tell he's literally zero sparring experience. Maybe some like overly compliant randori from his dojo, but he reacts to every small movement. He doesn't have a good guard. His hands are up. You know, I mean, yeah, he's not. He has terrible footwork. He's literally walking around. I mean, just look at the difference right here. He's just standing still. He's a sitting target. I mean, you're on flat ground. Why do you want to be still like that? You just barely missed that. A little choppy again.
It's actually pretty smooth over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let this go on for just a couple more seconds. I'm gonna switch videos.
Yeah,
I mean,
he obviously doesn't know what he's doing. He just try to like back up and without picking up his leg. Oh wow! I just
Look
got
at that.
smacked
Look
in
at
the
that.
foot.
Yep. I mean, the other guy is reading him like a book, right?
Yeah.
He steps in, throws a feint as if he's going to kick low, but then he kicks with, you know, his lead leg. It was kind of choppy. Let's try that again. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, he just ate it. The kid just ate it. I mean, his hands are low. What is he doing? You know? And all right, let's end off on that one. I want to show you that one. Look at this wild kick. I mean, just randomly throws it. So these are pure examples of, you know, where, you know, you could clearly tell these people have zero sparring experience, and that's really bad. And okay, some people can make the argument, yeah, you know, Nimpo or ninjutsu, you know, we only train to use against people on the street, not other martial arts, because, you know, we don't train for tournaments. Well, if you know, let's be honest, both those guys are fairly low level martial artists. You know, I mean, I'm not, you know, I would rather, you know, I would grade the guy in the white gi way higher than the ninjutsu practitioner.
Yep.
But still, like, you know, they're fairly low level martial artists overall, assuming they're both like regular, you know, like first degree black belts or whatever. But I mean, it's very clear. And now let's go into another one. Actually, let's skip another karate versus ninjutsu one. Let's do because that's going to be the same outcome. Let's look at this one, right? This video is actually very blurry. I don't know how old this is. I could not find a clear version of this. So this one, this is the guy in the right side who is a ninjutsu practitioner. Okay. The guy in the left, it looks like this is happening in some like basement gym or something. This is a Muay Thai fighter or practitioner. And apparently, like, if you read the comments on this, or the description to this video, it said that the guy was, you know, the ninjutsu guy said, you know, ninjutsu is like the best thing to use on the streets, and he was challenging like everyone. So I guess this Muay Thai guy stepped up to the plate, and here we are.
Gotcha.
Mute that video. I mean, audio. All right, so again, ninjutsu guy has hands way down, even though he's about mid-range. He's within.
He looks like he's about to dance.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay.
He looks like Michael Jackson.
He actually looks like Mike Tyson, like just the face.
Skinny Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think when Mike Tyson was like 3 years old.
He doesn't even know how to block.
Right, he doesn't. His hands are down. So streaming on here apparently is really choppy. I don't know why this is happening. Doing my best here. Again, throwing, you know, those legs out. You know, he doesn't really know what he's doing. And the guy just answers back like, you know, hey, that's how you really kick. And look, the way he just gets kicked in the back, the way he's reacting, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Again, very, very reactionary. There's no, you know, I'm going to lower you in. I'm going to put the pressure on. I'm going to come in, strike, move out, nothing. And look, immediately taps out from,
right.
You know, a guillotine.
Right.
That's, you know, example number 2. And I'm going to do one more because apparently, actually, no, let's do another one because we're going to do 2 more. So apparently there's another video. I guess this was a rematch, or maybe this one was first. I don't know. But let's look at this one. All right. So same guys, same 2 guys. Yeah. Turn that audio off. So now yeah, I have no idea. I think he just finished like his rock band concert. And this is a Muay Thai. Well, it says MMA, so okay. Guess that explains the throw right there. Throws him down, and you know, puts him on his stomach, and he just literally just. And the other guy is just holding on, you know, over his arm over his neck, just. I mean, he literally has no idea what to do.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to stop this here because it doesn't really change much, right? The guy ends up tapping out. Okay.
Gotcha.
So let's go to one more. One more. Okay. So again, of course, the ninjutsu guys in black. Of course, I mean, I'm kind of guilty of that too. I like to wear black, but I was like that before ninjutsu too.
I like to wear black because it's less dirty,
That is true.
or it gets less dirty, I should say.
All right, so it looks like this is just some friendly, as you can see by the title, OC, which I'm assuming is Orange County Open Martial Arts Sparring Meetup, right? We have something like that locally here as well. There's a Maryland group, Southern Maryland by the Virginia border. They do stuff like this. Usually it's indoors, but it's a friendly competition. You basically choose who you want to spar with, what types of stuff is things are allowed, and you basically pick, two people agree that they'll spar each other. So again, ninjutsu guy in the black. I'm not sure what the other guy does. It just says versus MMA, ninjutsu versus MMA. Again, this video is buffering, but again, another prime example of just a clear demonstration of zero sparring experience. Very reactionary. There's no setup. There's no footwork. And you could look. Anyone else can look up tons and tons of other videos like this, right? I mean, you can look up, great videos of ninjutsu where people are doing, like demos, and we have videos up of our own demos, schools like on stage and stuff, because we're not going up there, fighting on stage.
Right.
But those kinds of videos, you can get an example of these really cool techniques. But outside of techniques, I mean, people want to see this stuff working in, like complete non-compliance.
Right. Yeah. Those are pretty good examples.
Yeah. Again, I think that really speaks to, like volumes about most Nimpo schools. And, a lot of people won't even admit it. They'll say, ours isn't like that. We do this kind of pressure testing and that. Well, let's see videos of your students,
Right.
sparring. And, if anything, I'm not saying we train professional tournament fighters. I understand, training for tournaments is a completely different type of training. But it's very evident when, if you're that reactionary, how are you going to fight against someone else on the, outside in the street as well?
Right.
People that are used to getting into fights, who have picked up these types of skills on their own, feints and, things like that. Right. So that's my point.
Yeah. So the video I have, this is going back to our discussion a few minutes ago of why ninjutsu gets a bad rap. So this video does us no favors whatsoever. This is of Bujinkan Sakki Test. So for those of you that don't know, or not involved in ninjutsu or ninpo, or don't really know much about it, the Bujinkan is one of the organizations that teaches, one of the major organizations that teaches ninjutsu or whatever. They have the most members out of any of them out there. But their 5th degree black belt test is a sword cut. Student faces away from the teacher, sits in a kneeling position, and the teacher cuts at them straight down with sword on top of their head. Not a real sword, but bamboo sword usually, or something of that nature. And the student has to dodge it. They have to use their sixth sense, I guess you could say, to move out of the way without looking, right? So this video has some of those tests. Some guys that passed and some guys that didn't pass. Obviously, and I'm not making fun of this test whatsoever. If you did this test, at all, and you pass this test, great for you. However, when you have like videos like this out there, it doesn't look good for our art, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. Also, I do believe that people, whether part of whatever organization, you know, especially the Bunjikan. I'll be straight up with you. Um, you know, um, just like anything else, just like in every organization, right? Like um, there's certain things that I don't know. What would you say? Like, don't look well, right? This is one of them within
Mm.
this org. But I believe there's some people that take the tests before they're ready, right? And this is like the result you get.
Mm.
So I'm going to share my screen here. I am going to play this with sound because some of these tests are kind of funny. I'm not going to lie.
I think I know exactly what
So
you're talking about. Yep.
yeah.
Okay. No. Next.
So like that one right
He got
there,
off.
like obviously he didn't get whacked, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know why, because you'll see in other clips he whacks some guys, right?
Right.
So he must have really liked this guy. But it seemed like the guy wasn't even ready. Like he was just like sitting there, like wondering what the hell
Right.
is going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you
Right.
take a look again, I'm gonna rewind this real quick. Like he just sits down and
No. Next.
he's like, oh, okay.
I mean, even when Hatsumi held the sword above his head, right after
Right.
after the the cut, and then held it above his head, it stayed there for like a split second, and the guy still didn't even notice.
Right, exactly. See, in my opinion, like that would be a fail. You know what I mean? Like you know, if you're all jumpy like that, you're obviously not ready for this test, right?
Mm.
So you should fail.
That sound.
Oh man.
I wonder how many of these guys like walked away with like goose eggs on their head.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that one was pretty close. You know what I mean? I mean, it was still funny that he got whacked. But you know, it's that one. That one was better than the others. You know what I mean? Oh man. But again, like, so like this is the type of stuff, right? That shouldn't be put up on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it just one, it shouldn't be recorded because like obviously, like, you know,
Absolutely.
this is embarrassing for that person, right? They just failed that test, you know what I mean? So it shouldn't be recorded, period. But you know, it is what it is. I don't make the rules in that org, so and like what is he wearing? Like what
Yeah, I know.
It looks like he's half a samurai, half going to a rock concert. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know damn well in any of the orgs we belong to or used to belong to, that would be a fail.
Yeah. Oh, let's see that again.
Again, you know, it's funny, but it's sad at the same time. You know what I mean? It's funny, but it's sad at the same time. 'Cause you
like,
know, this poor
he's
guy,
like,
you know, is on the
yep.
internet. You know, I think it looks like Hatsumi just got fed up with him and was just like, here, boom. You know what I mean? Get out of
Yeah.
here. You know?
Right.
Yeah. See, he even wait for him to get settled.
Yeah.
So he didn't. What do you
Yeah.
think? Like on that one in particular, like he didn't wait for him to get settled. He was just like bang.
Yeah. No, it's very clear.
Yeah.
You could tell just by looking at it.
No. 避けると思えないことね。Don't think I'm moving out of the way. 避けると思う。ね、しょうがない。
Again, like he's wearing a hakama, wearing a t-shirt, a bandana, and looks like glasses or bifocals or something. Like what?
I mean, I get the eyeglass. You need fine, but
Yeah, you need
you
the
don't really
eyeglasses.
need it for this. For this,
But it's
I
like this is what this is the kind of stuff that gives ninjutsu a bad name. Like you look ridiculous. You know what I mean? You don't look like a professional martial artist. Is what I'm
a
trying to get
t-shirt
at.
with a hakama. Yeah, like,
Right.
Please.
一生懸命なんだからね。ああ、ベリーグッド。ナイストレーニング。大変。
And again, they're all laughing, all having a great time. Not saying training shouldn't be a good time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But there's no warrior spirit in there going on. You know what
That's
I mean?
Excellent point. Excellent point. I mean,
so
the whole
how do
idea. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
So how do you expect this guy to pass? Right. I don't know if he's going to pass or not. I'm not sure. I've seen this video many times, but I don't like really remember it. How do you expect this guy to pass when everyone's laughing, having a good time, joking around? Nobody's serious in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So again,
No, I mean that is an excellent point. I mean, we've done drills. You and I have done drills before, where when it comes down to like really where you need to focus on something, but it has to stay absolutely quiet, absolutely quiet. Like no one can make a sound, especially laughing. We've always been taught, laughing breaks the warrior spirit.
Right. Yeah.
Like stay intent. Focus intently. Keep your focus.
Yeah. Like, and this is supposed to be a test, right?
Yeah.
Imagine imagine if we laughed during like a black belt testing or something like that. We would probably get thrown out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah. And good point. I mean, this is an exam. This is not just, a learning, like a workshop. This is an exam that's happening.
Right. Exactly.
Cool.
And that's, I'm sure you do it too. That's why I get on my students all the time. Like, hey, you're here for training. You're not here to goof off. Like obviously have a great time, right? That's, I'm not trying to be, drill sergeant sensei, right? But, you're here to train, take it seriously. You're not here to goof off, so.
Well, I mean, you know that I'm a lot more lenient than you are. Lenient in the sense of like, I'm not as strict in my class, right? Like, I joke around, my students, like we laugh, but no one's allowed to do that during testing. And, for example, like if I'm being serious, then my students will, they usually know, it's time for them to get serious as well. So we have that understanding,
right.
But never on a test.
Right. Yep.
All right, let's keep this going.
Yep.
Hey, okay. Okay.
I mean, how many times is that already?
Yeah, that was like 4 times, 5 times.
Okay.
He's just tired of it.
Okay.
Yep.
So this guy, I'll wait till he's done.
Yeah. What's his name again?
Mark Romke. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Mark Romke, something like that. He's currently a Dai Shihan, I believe.
Okay. No.
Something very important for everyone to notice. Watch what's going on here.
What do you point out?
First of all, I just want to say, credit to the student though. I actually watch a lot of his videos on YouTube. He has some good like henka, like variations of some techniques. I like some of the stuff he puts out online. But again, stuff like this doesn't do anyone credit.
Right.
And this part right here is not really his fault. This again, this is Hatsumi's fault. I mean, look what's happening here as he's cutting down. He raises himself up on his toes. We all know that there's a, like you can cut like that, right? Makogiri or shomengiri, whatever you want to call it. You raise yourself up on your toes and you cut right down. But why didn't he do that for some of the other guys? He just went straight down. But here clearly gives it away. And actually, I want to give credit to McDojo Life, a YouTube channel. He actually pointed that out. That like the way that Hatsumi is raising up on his toes and clearly, giving it away that he's about to come down.
Right. If you notice, if you're watching right now, if you notice, watch the teacher raise up and then come down. That's what you were talking about, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
I mean, I'll give it to these guys. They're relaxed. They're nice and relaxed. They're not jittery. Okay.
Yes, relax. Hey!
So again, the raising and coming down.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Versus people who clearly doesn't want to pass.
Right.
Take down.
Hey! No thing. Let go. No. Relax. Okay. No. Relax. Nothing. No.
I mean, clearly, I don't remember what happens, but clearly he's about to get whacked in the head. And I think he's probably not going to rise up on his heels.
He's just messing with him right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost embarrassing.
Right.
Okay.
How much you want to bet he's just going to come straight down?
Sit still.
Relax. Relax.
Okay.
Oh, he did it that time.
Yeah, I was wrong. Does that mean he passes? Oh, wow. He passes. He passes for that. Jeez.
What was that?
I don't know. That was a lot. It looked like he kind of leaned forward a little bit and just missed him.
I don't know. Like it seemed like.
See that again.
Yeah. Yeah, he leaned forward. So yeah, what do you I'll stop sharing my screen. What do you think about all that?
I mean, look, I'll give credit to some of them, the practitioners, right? And this is sad because this is kind of like almost like a cult, like a Hatsumi cult, right? That we're seeing, and some of these people are. I mean, sure, maybe. Hatsumi was I mean, not maybe. We've seen old black and white videos of Hatsumi and Tanemura, training back in the day, and these guys were crazy good back in the day.
Yeah.
But something happened as they all started getting older. Something changed, and then we start seeing like really silly things. I mean, some of these guys, like they came up there, and one of them was a female. They were nice and relaxed. They weren't jittery, and they were just. You could even tell just by looking at their face, it was a sense of like complete like neutrality, right, in their face. It's very important for these kinds of drills. And granted, you could see Hatsumi rising up on his toes, like lifting up his heels almost all the way, where, and even if you can make the argument that rising up on your feet doesn't make that much movement, but your arms going up do, especially when you're wearing, like a kimono like that. Something's gonna make a sound.
Right.
So that was clearly giving it away. Some of them seem like, maybe they're on the right track, but the majority of that, like, how many times are you going to give people chances? It's like it defeats the whole purpose of that test.
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, like I was saying before, I think, some people are ready for that test and they passed it, good for them. But I think a lot of people are not, you know, ready for it, and they just get the chance to do it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether I don't know whether that's money involved or I don't know, maybe of who you know what I mean? And you get that kind of stuff, sloppy technique and sloppy test, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. And let's comment on the whole purpose of. I mean, you kind of introduced it, right? What is like a Sakki test, but you also spoke about it being like a sixth sense kind of thing, and I think it's very important for people to understand. Like, unlike what the YouTube channel McDojo Life that I was just referencing, there's a lot of people out there that just don't believe in anything that you just can't see, right?
right.
And that's where people like you and I, Lewis, like we'll differ with people like that, and that's obviously because we have this traditional style of background in training as well. Is there's obviously a sixth sense out there. Now, does that mean that we're going to be able to completely dodge everything that comes from behind us? No, the whole idea is that it's just opening yourself up to being able to feel like kind of like a killing intention. Now, people that say this stuff is BS are completely lying to themselves, because if you've ever been in a crowd and you've felt someone looking at you and you've turned around and looked directly at them, in a crowd of like hundreds or thousands of people, and you locked eyes, then
Right.
you knew that, like, that's your sixth sense, right? Like,
Right.
but how do you sharpen those skills, right? And that's where it starts becoming questionable, and stuff like this, as you put it, videos like this certainly does not do it justice. But
Right.
I have seen people do drills with, the same people have. You remember that drill where like you face a wall in the dark? You have a line of people facing a wall, their nose is pretty much against the wall, and you have their backs are facing other people across the mats, and the people across the mats have to walk up to them very quietly.
That's kind of like a Sakki drill.
It is, yeah. I mean, it is. It's not the Sakki test, but it's a Sakki drill. And I've seen people that, have like repeatedly gotten that drill like spot on numerous times, whereas some people are just so bad at it.
Right.
So there's definitely some level of sensitivity, as you also said before, right? That some people just have that other people don't. It's there, but
Right.
That's not the type of stuff you want to market and put out to the public. That's keep that stuff really high level, and don't keep giving people chances. I think that's silly.
And obviously, who knows who put? Let me see here. Who put this video out? It might have been someone who got a hold of this video from another person and put it out there because they thought it was ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most likely. I don't think they would shoot themselves in the foot like that.
Right. So, but still, it shouldn't have been recorded, in my opinion. But to finish this off, or finish this podcast off, what is your favorite part of a martial arts class? Now, this is a two-part question because what's your favorite part of a martial arts class as a student and as a teacher?
Okay. As a student, I would say sparring. The later years in my martial arts experience, I've definitely
hold on, before you
realized.
start, George actually George Harley made a good comment. The best Sakki Jitsu explanation that I've learned is being able to feel disruption in the baseline of your environment. That's like perfect way to put it. He also said it's also two-sided. A person needs to produce a worthwhile type of intent in a drill so that the receiver has something to work with. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't know George, George is a all-around phenomenal human being. He is a phenomenal martial artist, and a few times he's come to my dojo as well, and love having him around. We've been at some seminars together as well. He's a mutual friend with Lewis and I as well. Great guy. So, definitely, if he has a YouTube channel as well. George, can you type that? Well, I'll highlight that comment. What's the name of your channel?
It's
Maybe
what would ninjas do?
On YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. Yep. So go to subscribe to his channel. Has some good content on there. I would agree with both the comments he said. But anyway, back to what you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I forgot what I was saying.
Best
Yes,
part of a martial arts class as a teacher and as a student, because I'm sure
all right.
they're going to be different.
They are different. As a student, sparring.
Okay.
As a teacher, drills.
Like any type of drill, or just like
No,
seeing your
just
students drill?
no, like drilling, like fundamentals, like footwork, or throws, or whatever it is. What because we have such a diverse curriculum, right? So whatever area of martial arts that we're covering, drilling that, because I think that's where the real, I think that's like the first and biggest step into people learning their technique and getting that foundation, especially for footwork, which I've really been actually getting on a lot more lately with my students, because I've been trying to adjust their footwork now.
Gotcha. Yeah. So my favorite part as a student would probably be anytime we do anything with sword, whether it's kenjutsu, bigenjutsu, whatever, yaijutsu. I'm like in my zone when I do that type of stuff. And then as a teacher, I would say anytime we do randori, and it could be any type of randori, it could be grappling, it could be sparring, it could be 1 or 2 step randori. But when the students understand what they're doing and you see like they're getting it, you're like, yes, it's working. You know what I mean? So you like what you're teaching, they're grasping. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's those are my two.
No, that's very true. I mean, because that's when you realize that your instructorship is working,
Right.
and what better validation than seeing your students succeed.
Right.
Also, I do want to say thank you, Jose, for this comment. Just seeing this, you are my friend too. So in case anyone has not seen my shirt, Jose, you're also my friend. And if you notice, my title today is "I am your friend." Clearly, that's what my shirt says.
Oh man. But yeah, that's about it. Unless you wanted to talk about anything else.
No, I mean, if anyone has any topics that they want us to discuss next time, let us know. Drop them in the comments or anywhere. I mean, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, on YouTube, and we have multiple channels throughout. For everyone, we do have an official YouTube channel now, and it is called the Martial Mindset Podcast. So
go ahead and subscribe
YouTube.
to that.
Yes.
Hit the bell notifications button. And who knows, if we become super, super popular, we'll throw you a prize or something.
That would be great.
Yeah. So
I'm excited. I think that, this, we've already got, a few folks that, that join in, and, by the way, really quick. Sev, speaking of few folks that join in for our podcast, I think Sev has been on all three. I think this got Tom and Jerry flashbacks from the sound, the thwacking sounds in their heads.
That was my favorite cartoon as a kid.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, leave us comments and love to have you back. So really quick, George says, let's put this up here. I think we should do a WWND video together. What's WWND?
What would ninjas do?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I
Just
forgive
making
you. You had a migraine today, so I forgive you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, George, I think that would be awesome. Would love to do that.
Yeah, that'd be
sure.
cool. Seb also asked a question. Thoughts on training with shoes instead of barefoot? So, Seb, I'm not sure what type of martial art you do or if you do one currently, but what we do train outside. So, we wear shoes, we wear sneakers, Tabi boots, whatever, you know what I mean? Obviously, different shoes are going to react differently to different ground settings, you know what I mean? Like sometimes sneakers can be slippery in grass, right? Things like that. But I think you should train in shoes. I think you should also train in street clothes sometimes. Because street clothes are different than gis.
Yeah. Really quick about that. We actually do twice a month. We have a no-gi class at my dojo, and anyone can wear whatever they want. I actually have a student that comes in a suit, and like he will do grappling, he will do ukemi in his suit.
Does he work in a suit?
He does.
Is that why? Okay.
He comes from work, and he knows it's a no-gi class, so he will deliberately leave on his suit instead of changing into something else and train in that. People come in like jeans and shorts, so it's not just like no gi, meaning like you're wearing like the
t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah, but like actually like regular outside clothes.
Yeah.
So
I would love to train in a suit and be like John Wick, but I'd be afraid to rip like an expensive suit.
Yeah, same. need to just go to what's the name of that place? You like buy one suit, get like 5 suits free.
Men's Warehouse?
No. I'll think of the name later. I can never remember anything when we're live. But back to Seb's question. Training in shoes is important as well. But I do think that like if you can train barefoot, you can train with shoes easily.
Yeah, I think so too. I think some boots can get a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, like Lewis's favorite shoes to train in are stilettos.
Yes, sir.
and I'm sure that's a challenge.
Hey, I use the end. I take them off and use the end to like hit people with them and stuff.
There you go. Kunoichi. See, this is what happens when we go over time on the podcast.
This is what happens after Omar has a migraine for the day. Yeah. So I actually saw that once at like a club when I was younger. Like a bunch of girls got in a fight. It was always the girls fighting all the time. But a bunch of girls got in a fight, and the one girl took off her heel, and just started smacking the other girl with her heel like on top of her head. Like, so, yeah, I'm sure that didn't feel good. So
was it like stilettos or like just like high heels or
like pointy heels? Like
wow, that's actually aggravated assault.
Yeah, obviously, cops got involved and stuff. Cops came and stuff and arrested them, all of them. But I don't know what happened. I didn't know any of them. You know what I mean? I just sat there with popcorn and watched. You know what I mean? So back into my partying days.
Yeah. And then Lewis is like, "That's a good idea. Fighting with stilettos.
Yeah,
try that."
Oh man, but So yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. We will be back not this Monday, the following Monday. I will be having a special guest.
Awesome.
So I guess I'll tell everybody I'm going to be having George Harley from What Would Ninjas Do as my special guest. So Omar can't make it. He has a prior obligation. So yeah, should be a good show. And that's about it. But again, if you have any topics that you want us to cover in the future, just drop a comment. We'll see them. And we'll go from there. So any last words?
Yeah, Stilettos rock.
Yes, they do. All right, guys. See you later. Have a good night.
All right. Good night.